What's going on, people? I am Swerver, along with Journey to Be Great, Illuminated Lenses, and Coco Love. And this is Opinionated Facts. And on Opinionated Facts, we talk about breaking news and current event analysis, but sometimes we'll talk about other things like relationship topics or lifestyle topics. So today, we're going to be talking about a few things, and we hope that you guys hang around to hear the whole episode because we got some juice. So I'm going to start it off by asking the panel. So when it comes to love, who do you guys think falls in love first, the man or the woman? And then tell me why.
I think the woman.
Okay.
And well, as far as reason why, it's almost like we kind of programmed to, want to be in love and be married and with the kids and all that stuff. So kind of start at birth with the dolls and the kitchen sets and things like that. So I think the woman.
Okay. What do you think? E?
I think there's also women too. The reason why I think that is because I feel like, as far as with emotions, I feel like women are quick to get more emotionally involved with somebody versus men. With men, we not that it's not that we're not emotional or we don't care or anything like that, but we kind of can manage our emotions a little bit more. If I
Okay. So what do you think, Coco?
I would agree. Yeah, I would say women as well, just because, basically like Elliot and Cece were saying, pretty much like, you are almost programmed to be that way, and then you see other people, you see it on TV, cartoons and things like that, where everybody has a family, mom, dad, and children and all of that. So it's just kind of, and then not to mention like, once you hit your 20s, usually everybody's asking you when you're going to get married. So definitely women. For sure.
Well, you guys may be surprised to know that a new study found that men actually fall in love before women do. On average, men fall in love about 88 days, and women fall in love about 134 days. And I was just really shocked by that. So to go a little bit further, it's a site called Elite Single, and this is coming from newscientist.com. And so they did a poll back in 2017 and found that 61% of women believe in love at first sight, and 72% of men believe in love at first sight. Now, this is a little bit different from just falling in love over time. But I was actually kind of shocked to see that too, like how men can kind of look at a woman and think, "Oh, I'm in love," because for me, I'm not like that. But it was so interesting. That's why I kind of like dug a little bit deeper into it. I was just really taken away by the whole thing about men actually falling in love before women do. Here's something else too. They said that it also has something to do with their age. Younger men typically fall in love faster than older men, and the reason that they gave was because they're not so quick to jump in. And they gave a reason for why they feel like women also take so much longer than men to get married, because they're saying that women typically like to protect themselves, and men kind of go in with it kind of like, hey, I ain't really got too much to lose, because it's like men kind of play the game a little bit longer than women do. So they get a chance to kind of like experiment with different things. So when they think that they're in love, they really kind of go all in. Whereas women are kind of more reserved about how they feel. So they try not to fall in love as fast. So I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Very
you know
interesting and surprising.
Another reason for that might also be, everybody's definition of love is different too. Like what one person they might think is love, another person might think lust. So a lot of times, especially like when younger men, it might be to where you kind of think that you're in love, but you just see him at first sight, and you're like, oh, they bad, she bad as hell, or oh, she, she real pretty and stuff, and you're kind of looking at the physical, and you just kind of worry about the mental and all the other stuff later. So that could be another thing too.
I actually kind of disagree with the articles a little bit myself. I not necessarily that men don't fall in love as faster than women, but I guess I'm just saying like that's a case by case situation, and maybe I'm just like the anomaly or something. I don't know, but I think for me it just takes some time.
It's basically confirming the 90-day rule because you said it takes what 84 days for the guys
80,
to fall
80,
in
88 for
love.
men, 134 for women.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of confirmed the 90-day rule for people then. So,
Oh,
It does. That is a good point. That
right.
is a
so
really
you
good
trying to say
point.
that man can't? You know what? I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that
I
alone.
I'm
mean,
just
because
saying. They
I
said
didn't think about
88
that.
You
days.
see what's going on.
So
You gotta survive them
Yeah,
134 if you want to get in there. You know what I'm
right, man, it's crazy.
saying? So what you got? E? Let's go. What you got?
I'm talking about a lady name, and I'm probably saying her name wrong, but I'm gonna try. Tori Weems. She's 50 years old, and she's been accused of shooting her husband. The reason being is because she reportedly found out about him messing with children. But let me further explain. So when officers arrived, and I'm reading an article from WSA 9. Says when the officers arrived at the hotel room, the woman identified as a 50-year-old Shantari Weems began to talk to them through the door. Officers asked Williams to come out so they could assist the man that was shot, but then she informed them that she would shoot herself if they came into the room. As this conversation continued through the door and the officers tried to confirm it, if there was a shooting victim, Williams yelled, "He's a child molester." The identified man was able to inform officers through a door that he was shot in the leg. And after the confirmation, the officers made entry into the room at around 8:11 p.m. to treat the victim and detain Williams, according to the court document. So basically, while detained, Williams told the police that she had been married to the man she shot for 5 years and they lived together in Baltimore. She said that numerous children at her daycare business recently told her that he had been molesting them. Williams also said that she reported her husband to Baltimore authorities. So yeah, so that what do y'all feel about that? I mean, on one end, yeah, she shot him, but I mean, if there was ever a time to shoot somebody, I mean that. Hey, just saying, if you ever needed a justifiable excuse, I mean, come on, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. Some when it comes to something like that, a person can definitely snap. And I mean, you molesting kids, and yeah, it's very possible that your life can be taken.
That's extremely embarrassing. I mean, just even on her end and his end, like just their family, like finding out that she's just been out here molesting children. Then she's trying to run her business, and you out here touching on the kids. It's that was her business, right? She was running daycare.
Yeah. Yeah, it's her business.
Man, that's oh man, I don't know how I would have dealt with that either. I'm not sure if I would have popped a cap in them, but I mean, I in her in this case, but I don't know, man. That's a hard one, but yeah, but then again, I don't know if I would have took that measure either because she's probably gonna do some time behind that. Well, I know she is, but
I kind of can't blame her low key, especially in a situation where, I feel very strongly, on situations of, and I'm sure a lot of people do, situations of molestation towards children, women, just anything like that where, you're abusing someone who can't defend themselves or whatever, So I can understand it. And then as well, she's probably thinking about the fact that, this is her business and she probably loves children. I mean, I think you have to when you're in any type of childcare, honestly.
Yeah.
So, and she's probably like, in her mind, protecting them, with everything that she can, and to find out that, someone that she thought would probably help her protect them is doing, something to them like that. I can understand like kind of snapping. It's not the best way to handle it, obviously. Best way to handle it would just have been to, contact the authorities, but I get it. So hopefully, now what would be awful is if she was wrong, and he wasn't doing anything, and but I don't know why children would say that, either if something wasn't actually happening. So that's unfortunate though, for real. She's probably
And
gonna lose
she
her license
may have
behind that
had
too.
some suspicions about it, and maybe the kids actually confirmed it for her.
And that's hard for it. It's one thing if it was just one child. I mean, obviously that's still serious, but for it said numerous. So for it to be a numerous amount of children saying the same thing, it's kind of like with a smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
Man, I was just thinking about how did they find out? Like how? Like I mean, I'm just thinking to myself, like, did the children come forth with it? Like how did she find out?
Yeah, but apparently the children. She said the children recently told her that he had been molesting them.
But I heard that part, but I'm saying like I'm wondering how. You know what I mean? Like how did they tell
What
her?
did they say?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I'm wondering like did how did it come about? Did they just come out because they knew something was wrong and they wanted to just tell her, or was it like just talking in general, then it just came up and then she was like, "Oh my God, this is what this is."
Yeah. It could have been something like he was making them feel uncomfortable, and then she could have just asked, "Well, how does he do that?" or something. And then
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because in some incidents where a child has been, something has happened, like their whole demeanor will change. And she probably being in that line of work, she probably noticed it and may have just asked the kids, what was going on.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Sometimes the kids start to act out, like, they might be really sweet and, whatever. And sometimes they might like completely switch up and start to like act out, become a problem when things like that are going on because they don't know how to emotionally process it.
That's really sad. Can y'all imagine her face? Like, can you imagine getting that information? Like, what your initial like feeling.
That's what I'm saying. The whole snapping part.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
why I
like you
get
said,
it.
that right.
Yeah.
You know, something like that, you know, again, like, and like you mentioned, Coco, you to do that line of work, I would assume you love kids, you know, you love doing that. And, you know, a lot of times, like, even I remember when my kids were going to daycare, you know, thank God I had someone that I trusted and was very good with my kids, but she looked at them as all the kids as her baby.
Mm-hmm.
So to find out someone that you love and trusted is harming your children,
Right.
that could, you
Someone that
know,
she would have never expected. You know, she probably would have
right.
never thought that her husband, you know, would have been, you know, maybe if it was like some other daycare worker or something like that, maybe. But I bet she would have never thought in a million years that it was her husband that was doing that. And then I can only imagine, like, I'm surprised really that they didn't tell their own parents first, but you know, I don't know. And just imagine like being a parent of one of those children, you know, like that's a whole nother
Yeah.
thing, you know, having to send your baby somewhere and you pray and hope they're okay and then they're not.
Well, speaking of children, unfortunately, this having to do with the mothers of children just being born. This story comes out of Brazil. A doctor was accused of raping pregnant women while they were undergoing their C-section. The doctor's name is Giovanni Quintella Bezerra. He's 32 years old, and he was arrested July 11th. And they arrested him it was at a women's hospital in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. But anyway, they say there was suspicions about his conduct when he performed two previous C-sections earlier that day. And during the third C-section, the nurses moved the patient to a different delivery room where it was cameras in there so they can film to see if it was something going on. So they said the alleged act was filmed, and so suspicions were raised when the woman was undergoing the C-section because during the C-section, her bottom half is covered. So therefore, the surgeons that was performing the C-section, they couldn't really see what was going on with her top half. So they said this alleged act took place for 10 minutes. And at the end of the attacker, Bezerro, was seen cleaning the woman's mouth with the gauze.
Wow.
Yeah, so he got arrested and they said if charged he could face up to 8 to 15 years in prison.
Okay,
I
let
was
me.
highly disgusted by this, but yeah.
So while this is going on, I'm sure these women are under some type of
Yeah, he and I also, which I'm sorry, I skipped over that part, but they said he was accused of like heavily sedating these women because
Mm-hmm.
they said they called him a doctor, but I'm assuming he was like the anesthesiologist.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming that was his role as far as during the C-section. And yeah, they did say he was heavily sedating these women. And still, I can't imagine because, like I said, you have a people like again, her lower half is covered up and you have people like right there. But they
Yeah.
said he was, you know, toward her head, her face, while they were trying to deliver the baby. And allegedly, is what they keep putting in the article. While they're doing that, he is receiving some form of oral pleasure or something he had going on. So yeah.
There was a video. You don't see, him, putting it in her mouth or anything like that, but you kind of can see him kind of like, looking around. It looked like maybe one of the other nurses they called him, or I don't know who called him, but whoever called him is recording it, and you can kind of see there's something is going on that's not necessarily normal. So yeah, that's a shame
That's
that
disgusting.
you can't even go into the doctor to give birth without you have to be worried about getting touched. That's actually one of the fears that a lot of people have when they're going. They have to get sedated. They don't. It's not so much I'm scared of needles or this that happens. You are scared of needles, but you also don't you don't know what people are doing to your body while you're there.
I could just only imagine, like, if that was my wife, my sister, or my daughter, or my aunt, or just any woman in my life that I care about. I mean, you could just imagine the type of rage that the woman herself has probably got some type of fury inside. But you can just imagine
Absolutely.
if you're the man, or you're that man's, I mean, you're that woman's husband, or you're that brother, that uncle, or that father, whatever. You can imagine what you want to do. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. You know, I don't really advocate for violence, but he probably would have some issues in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw this, and as a woman who recently gave birth via C-section, it couldn't help but to identify with her, you know. Now, the first thought I had was, why was she asleep? But after I saw that, you know, he was doing that, he was heavily sedating them or whatever, to the point where they are like really out of it, so he can get what he wants to get done, then it made sense, because I was very much awake. Now, I know different things happen for different people or whatever, so, but I can't imagine, like, this is supposed to be a happy time, you know, it's the day that her child was born,
Right.
and it's supposed to be a joyous occasion. It's supposed to be a day that she can look back on and everything. And I feel like, and I'm sure she, you know, will, as time goes on, like, she'll look forward to obviously her baby's birthday and everything. But I think that she will always remember that, you know, and thankfully, is all I can say is that, you know, she wasn't put in any type of physical pain during it, in a sense. If you want to find some type of bright point, I guess, a bright side of it, like, but it still is awful nonetheless. I'm sure she still feels violated nonetheless, because, like, how can you, I just, it's just really no words, really, because it's like people are trusting you to take care of them and, you know, to keep them alive, because things go wrong with anesthesia as well. And here you are, like,
Mm-hmm.
you're not even focused, like, you're overly sedating this woman so you can do something illegal
Take,
and wrong. And it's like, I mean, you, and then it's like, you could have killed her by doing that. So it's just, he needs to be like under the jail. And it kind of goes back to the story that Elliot was just talking about on the low. I mean, quite frankly, if somebody shot him, I'm not advocating for violence. I'm just saying I understand, because what
understand.
are you
Yeah.
doing? And yeah, definitely, he would have to say, I don't know, you know, who the man is in her life or whatever, you know, but yeah, I could definitely understand somebody wanting to see him in the parking lot for sure, because that just don't make any sense. And it just makes you scared, like Elliot was saying, like, you trying to go to the doctor to have this baby safely, you know, shoot, you might want to try and look into a water birth at home now, because it's like, you can't do anything.
And just to close on the topic, but you know, just for you to even for this idea to even pop up in your head to try this, I doubt it's the first time he's even done it, and he just got away with it. And you don't know how many people have probably tried this, you know, being doctors and everything like that. You know, that's a lot of times the reason why, you know, you want to have somebody with you. Or a lot of times when you're having a doctor's visits, you know, they'll have the door cracked, or, you know, just stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because you just never know. Just because somebody's in this professions like doctors or firefighters or police officers, even people are even people. They can have any type of job. They can be jurors. They can be, you know, judges or whatever. So you just always have to just, you know, be aware. Don't be afraid, but, you know, you have to be aware.
Yeah. Well, kind of staying in the medical area, I suppose. So I'm not sure if you guys have heard, well, I'm sure you probably have actually, about monkeypox. So as of, I think 2 days ago, I want to say, the World Health Organization has declared it as a global health emergency. So this is the second time in 2 years that this has happened. And this is the seventh public health emergency since 2007. Of course, COVID was the most recent. So, per a New York Times article, nearly all infections outside of Africa. Okay, so this is already going on like overseas and everything. It's international, like I said. So, all the ones that are kind of outside of Africa have actually occurred among men who have sex with men. So, they're not like saying that it's a sexually transmitted disease or anything like that, because quite frankly, they really don't know. They're just talking about what they have seen so far from the different cases that they've seen so far. So it says, as of Saturday, the United States recorded nearly 3,000 cases with 2 children, but of course the count is expected to be higher because now they're about to like ramp up testing and everything. Also, Britain and Spain, they each have about as many cases as the United States, and the rest are kind of distributed through about 70 countries. As of Friday, New York City alone has logged 839 monkeypox cases with again, men having sex with men. And the city actually started offering the monkeypox vaccine, but they ran out of doses. So the symptoms that you can kind of look for, because they're not 100% sure about the transmission either. They're just, again, they're noticing that it is in men that have sex with men. They're not sure like about how it is transmitted. As of now, they feel like it's like close, like body contact or whatever, like with the lesions that someone might have. So it says symptoms include a body-wide rash that can develop in 1 to 2 weeks after exposure. Many patients have also developed body lesions only in the genital area, and some have developed sores in the throat, urethra, or the rectum and have suffered excruciating pain. Have y'all seen the stories about monkeypox? Like, what are y'all's thoughts?
I've seen it, but I haven't been like, I haven't been paying a lot of attention to it, to be honest with you. So, like, I didn't even know, like, as far as the symptoms and everything until you just mentioned it. But as far as the transmission, didn't know that either. So, but well, I know you said it's it's still early, so they're not 100% said that that's how people get it. But yeah, I'm still learning about it. So I thank you for sharing that information because I didn't know much about it, to be honest.
I just don't want to catch it.
There you go, right there. Right to it.
Yeah. And I mean, and again, I didn't know that either. I just heard that the other day, and then I started reading more about it as far as it being mostly seen in with men that have sex with other men. And I thought to myself, like, I mean, and again, I know they're just reporting on what they're seeing, but I don't know. I just don't want anybody to be like, oh, well, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want anybody to be careless with it or whatever and think that it is just a situation like a sexually transmitted disease, because I don't think that that's all that it is. That might be what they're seeing right now, but until they can really do more research, I don't think that that's just what it is. You know what I mean? So yeah, I guess, I don't know. You got to just be on the lookout of people with like sores on their arms and stuff. I don't know. And I thought I read somewhere, not in this article, but I thought I saw somewhere where they said that people have a cough sometimes as well. So it's interesting. But I'm definitely keeping my eye on this one.
So you don't know if it's COVID or monkeypox.
The moral to the story is people are nasty. Stay away from folks. if you keep your distance, you speak, hey, by keep it moving or whatever. But you in these crowds. I mean, we always knew folks was nasty, but I'm not saying that that's the reason why these people are catching this or or catching COVID or anything like that. But that's just to show you that people you don't know what folks got. So
if you stay social distancing, you won't have to worry about it. Some folks don't know how to do that. They be all up on you in crowds, whatever, all in the grocery line, all on your neck.
Be breathing on you that hot, bro. I mean hot. I ain't even got no head on my head, and you burning, man.
Curling up my edge.
Right. Well, I ain't got none, but
But I want to thank everyone that's listened to us for taking the time to hear what we have to say today. Hopefully, this episode gives you some insight on a few things. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're listening to us on YouTube. Also, you can follow us. All of our handles will be in the description below. And until next time, I am Swaver, along with Illuminated Lenses, Coco Love, and Journey to Be Great. Until next time, peace.